we've heard from the citizens concerning Carroll Campbell boat landing. Is there any way possible we could do some further studies to see the possibility of adding to that facility a dock and boardwalk, not only for one current 40-passenger boat, but for others that could possibly come and want to do tourism, ecotourism in this county?
Not sure I understand which of the questions that were asked. One, we did look at ordinances relating to boat landings or boat facilities in other counties. As far as a study on tourism, no, sir, that was not done in connection with this ordinance. I think it'd be beyond the scope of it. The second question, which I think you asked, is could that study be done? I think the answer to that is yes, the study could be done. But the purpose of this ordinance is, one, to clean up some of the problems we had in the prior ordinance relating to boat facilities, and to set the parameters of what we're going to allow. I mean, the boat facilities now are, as I have always been, as I understand it, for recreational facilities. Once you start opening up to commercial, you get on a slippery slope, sir, but that's something that the council would have to decide if they wanted to go down that path.
Our biggest boat landing, the Carroll Campbell, as I refer to it, it definitely could handle larger vessels as compared to some of our other landings.
What do you mean by you mean launching?
Yes.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to speculate on what size it could handle out there for launching.
It's not a perfect landing where it is, but it could handle a pretty big boat. Is there, after all the discussion and everything that we've been through among ourselves and as well as you, there's just no way we could make accommodations for the 40-foot charter?
Not trying to be glib, but I mean, is there no way? Well, yes, there's a way if properly funded. But the other question that the council is going to have to ask itself as a matter of public policy, if at the Carroll Campbell, then why not somewhere else? And once we start down the path at the Carroll Campbell, then, you know, how far does council want to go with this? Is there no way? Well, yeah, there's a way if you want to carry the burden of it and if you want to start down that path.
Why isn't the city dock able to accommodate this? Why is this coming to the county location?
Well, one, your question says, why isn't the city dock able to accommodate this? Not sure I would accept the premise. So as I understand it, the city dock was and is. There are, I think, presently two boats down there now, the large pontoon style boats that can accommodate it. And I believe there was a third that lost their slip. Okay, so it's, Ms. Carolina introduced a whole new element to this when he said we could create places where boats could moor. Now that's different than loading, unloading, launching. Now you're talking about a whole different thing there. So I think there are slips, I don't know how many, but slips are available at the city or were available for some of these types of boats, and tourism has been here. This type of tourism has been going on and still is going on. So, I can't answer for the city, but I wouldn't accept the premise that the city or those slips on Front Street boardwalk haven't been accommodating this. I think they have been.
Jay, in your opinion, if we open up Carroll Campbell to this type of thing, is that going to open us up to having to do it for the rest of the landings throughout Georgetown County? If somebody is so inclined to push that point up to it.
Well, it's foreseeable someone could make that argument. I don't know they could force you to open it up. But again, I think if you go back to the purposes for any of these boating facilities, and the legislative intent behind the ordinance, to start moving in the direction of identifying and, purposely saying we're going to allow commercial operations out of the landings, you're opening up another whole area for consideration, and I think it's going to become very unmanageable at some point for the council. But again, it's a question for council. It's a policy decision for council to make. Do they want to go in that direction? And the facilities that you have now just simply were not designed for that.
Move on. Is there a motion pertaining to ordinance number 23-38?
So moved.
Is move for adoption of ordinance number 23-38. Is there a second? By Councilor Anderson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Elliott. Any discussion? All in favor of adoption of ordinance number 23, of approval of ordinance number 23-38, please raise your hand. Opposed? Okay, I'm trying to get the count. I know we have 4 approved.
He voted for it.
5. Okay, 5 for, 2 against. Okay. Motion carries.